What's going on YouTube? JT's Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition of After the Movie. Currently in my house right now. I just got done watching a film known as Courage Mountain, and I'm here to give my thoughts on it. Now, you're probably reading the title of this video and going, what in the hell is Courage Mountain? So, this is the film that came out in the year 1990. Now, the only reason I watched this thing, I was kind of just like skimming through some old, I sometimes like to watch old Siskel and Ebert videos because I like their insights into films, and a lot of times the videos are kind of funny, and one of the videos that popped up was the worst of 1990, so ended up watching it, and during one point in the episode, they showcased a film known as Courage Mountain. And as Roger Ebert's trying to describe the plot of this movie, he's like, shut up, Gene, stop laughing, as he's trying to talk about the plot of it. And then they just cut to this one clip. This one clip sold me on watching this entire film. And it's this one sequence of Charlie Sheen on these skis in the Swiss Alps. And I just started laughing like really loud as soon as I saw this one clip. And even in the movie, it still is pretty funny. Like, okay, I'm going to have to watch this movie. Like, one single, like, clip of Charlie Sheen on these fucking skis is what sold me on watching this ridiculous movie. So that was that, and then finally I'm like, okay, I'm gonna sit and watch this thing, and whew, man, okay, so the full movie is on YouTube. I'll leave a link in the description below if you do want to watch it. I don't really recommend it. It's mostly kind of a snooze fest. The film stars Charlie Sheen, and I say that in quotation marks because he's not really in the movie all that much. He gets top billing, obviously, because he is the biggest star in the film. I don't recognize any other actors within this thing. So the film itself is set in the year 1915. It's World War I. It's set in Switzerland, Italy, and like a few other European countries. Surprisingly enough, Charlie Sheen in that does not have any sort of European accent, I guess, but hey, it is what it is, I suppose. But anyways, it's about him. The main focal point is this young girl named Heidi. Now, the film, they say she's like 15, but and she looks like it. But meanwhile, Charlie Sheen looks like he's 30, and there's supposed to be somewhat of like a romantic thing. And it looks kind of off because he looks way, way, way too old to be with this girl right here. And they don't really showcase anything like too romantic or anything like that. Like, they're not like, smoochy. Well, they do share one kind of kiss at the end of the film. But like I said, there's kind of something off about it. Like, she looks way, way too young for this guy. Like, there's no way I buy this guy as a teenager. I mean, like, this came out in 1990. I mean, Charlie Sheen had done Wall Street and Platoon by this point. He's clearly a lot older than his female co-star right here. So, he's barely in the film. He plays a soldier by the name of Peter. And it's about this girl named Heidi. And she lives with her grandfather, whose name is known so much as his literal name in the movie is just grandfather. Even Peter, Charlie Sheen's character, calls him grandfather. Literally everyone calls him grandfather. But anyways, Heidi, Peter's going to go off and become a soldier. Heidi, if you will, is going to go to this all-girls boarding school, and then World War I Italy stuff kind of happens, and they take over the boarding school, and the girls are sent to live in this orphanage where this guy with this mustache and some crazy bitch, the kids are forced into kind of like slave labor, if you will. A very miserable, kind of depressing movie. I mean, it mostly is kind of boring. There's a few kind of awkward, like, acting moments, especially with the main villain and, like, the main villainess, I guess. She kind of disappears in the movie, or maybe I was just so bored that I kind of tuned her out, like, what happens to her. But, so it's, like I said, a lot of boring stuff. The kids try to escape to, like, go from Italy through the Swiss Alps, back to Heidi's place to reunite with grandfather, the woman who was in charge of the original orphanage where they were staying at. She does her thing, and she's trying to find the girls, but, like, mustache twirling villain guy, or in this case, like, his chain twirling villain guy, who, like I said, he's kind of dull. He has a few moments where I kind of got a little bit of a chuckle, but this movie feels like a TV movie that somehow had a very limited theatrical release. And I don't understand it. Like, I don't get why somebody's like, okay, let's make this movie the way it is, because it's a real snooze fest. I mean, the only thing that sold me on, like, sitting through this entire movie was the one sequence I saw of Charlie Sheen on these skis, and like I said, that sequence is really, really funny. It's the only reason why I watched this stupid movie, was just to see Charlie Sheen on those skis just kind of flying through the air, and it just, like I said, that just made me laugh. And it does happen, but it's saved for the very end of the film. And it is funny to see kind of how it all kind of like unfolds in that sequence, but the rest of the film, it's just pretty boring. Like I said, it feels like a TV film. Feels like an episode of Little House on the Prairie that Charlie Sheen kind of guest starred on, with, of course, like kind of a really depressing tone. But I think part of the issue too is like the character of Heidi and like some of these other characters around them don't really have that distinctive personalities. Like nothing about these kids really kind of stands out. Like I mean, given it like a film that really has like I mean, it's not like you can't have child actors in the film and like make the characters all have distinct personalities and stand out. I mean, there's been a lot of Stephen King movies that have done that. Stand By Me, it of course is another example of it, and there's a lot of other '90s kids films like The Sandlot and all that that have like child actors and characters that do stand out and you do remember them. This film, not so much. It's kind of a bit of a snooze fest. And like I said, this is a movie that I've never seen anybody talk about until I just happened to kind of come across it randomly within that Siskel and Ebert episode. But yeah, this is a bit of a pretty like boring kind of like snooze fest of a film. The skiing sequence, which you could probably just skip to on its own at the end. I can't believe I sat through an hour and a half movie just because one sequence made me laugh my ass off. And I'm thinking, oh, this will be a great So Bad It's Good movie. It's also on the Siskel and Ebert Worst of 1990. And like I said, when they were describing it, like Gene was just laughing in the background. So I'm like, okay, this has got to be something kind of funny and kind of stupid. And yeah, there's some dumb, stupid elements to it, and I did get a few chuckles, but for the most part, it's a bit of a snooze fest. Wouldn't really recommend this thing. I feel like there's a reason nobody ever talks about it, because it just is one of those films that kind of came and went. Is it one of the worst things I've ever seen? No, it's just pretty boring, aside from the absolutely, like, ridiculous skiing sequence. Like, that's the one part of the film where I just was laughing my ass off, because it just comes right out of nowhere. It looks so ridiculous, but it's also kind of funny in that regards. And like I said, the Siskel and Ebert video where they kind of discussed it tricked me into thinking it'd be an entertaining So Bad It's Good thing. So I like, oh man, I'm trying so hard to find another great So Bad It's Good movie that I haven't seen. I want something I can just kind of laugh my ass off at, just how like unintentionally funny it is. I feel like it's been a long time since I've sat through a film like that. It feels like I'm missing the mark on so many occasions. Like I just want to find something so bad it's good that I can laugh at again. I feel like the last time I saw like a movie so stupid that I was laughing my ass off was probably Cats. Oh god, I shudder to think, like, is that really the last like So Bad It's Good funny movie that I saw in theaters or something like that, or like something along the lines of like a Geostorm and that, where it's just so stupid that I get a good chuckle out of it. Yeah, like it's been quite a while, so I'm looking for that experience again. I was kind of hoping this Courage Mountain movie would kind of do it for me, and it does for one sequence, and that's the Charlie Sheen skiing scene, because it just it just looks so ridiculous. But other than that, like I said, this movie is a bit of a snooze fest. It says it stars Charlie Sheen, but he's barely in the film at all. The other actors are doing okay. There's some other like things that don't make sense. Like these kids are trying to get from like point A to point B, and then this lady who was in charge of the original boarding school that the Heidi or whatever was sent to just shows up at the grandfather's place like way before the kids even get there somehow. Like how the hell did she get up this mountain and get through all this stuff? Like there's a few little logical like questionable gaps in that regards. So, and then like I said, the relationship between Heidi and Peter, it just feels kind of icky, given like how she looks like she's like 12, like 14 years old, and Charlie Sheen's clearly like nearly 30. Maybe the actress was a bit older. It seems a bit off-putting to me in that regards. It didn't feel organic. Maybe if the movie came out like 5 years prior, maybe if Charlie Sheen was like 5-6 years younger, it would have worked, but he clearly looks like he's like 30. I mean, he just did Platoon and Wall Street before this film, so it seemed kind of ewy to me. Like I said, the way it was kind of like showcased in the film, it felt a little bit off, and like it almost seemed like there was some discomfort there, like filming some stuff there. But it probably would have been better if it was like a sibling vibe, if you will. But again, it's a movie that I'm never going to watch again. I'm probably the only person who's talked about this film in the past decade at this point, unless the person who uploaded that one Siskel and Ebert video talk about it. But yeah, like I said, never heard anyone else talk about this film outside of that little Siskel and Ebert video I just kind of came across, and I was like, you know what, I'll give this thing a watch. I think it'll be kind of funny. And it really wasn't. It's not even like a movie you can have fun really riffing for the most part, unless you're a very clever comedian or something like that. It's a pretty bland, forgettable film outside of the skiing sequence. So yeah. All right, well, I've talked about this movie more than probably anyone ever has, unless, of course, you were in the film or something like that, but not something I'd recommend. Kind of disappointed. I wasted my uh, Tuesday evening watching this film. I was originally going to see Expendables, but I got home kind of late and was taking care of a few things. I'm like, I'll just kind of sit home and kind of chill and watch something. So, and I watched this. I watched Courage Mountain. And I encourage you not to watch it unless you want to skip to the skiing sequence, which I'll leave a link in the description below for the film. Just skip to the very end, and then you'll see Charlie Sheen skiing. And I tell you what, like I said, that scene is worth it because it's so stupid, but just the way it's done, it just made me laugh my ass off. So at least I got one laugh out of it, but still not the film I was looking for. So, anyways, if any of you, you know what, if you're subscribed to this channel, chances are you haven't seen this movie. But if you have, like, if you're one of the few, like, the small percentage of people who've seen or heard of this movie, let me know what you thought of it in the comment section down below. Or if you just go ahead and want to watch that skiing sequence and then come back to this video and let me know what you thought of it. If you laughed your ass off like I did, let me know as well. I mean, at least it can have somebody you can sit and discuss the movie, I guess. But anyways, I have talked long enough. That's going to be it for this video. Tune in tomorrow. I got some more, I got another comic book review coming out. That's going to be like the latest Godzilla War for Humanity. On Thursday, I plan on seeing The Creator. I originally was going to see Expendables 4 today, but like I said, I got home kind of late, and I'm like, I'll just kind of check this thing out. I don't feel like going to sit in a movie theater right now. But I do plan on seeing The Creator. That looks pretty sweet, and hopefully I'll get around to seeing Expendables 4. I've not been hearing the best of things about that film, but who knows? Maybe I'll find some entertainment value with it. It's going to be the last Expendables movie. I don't see them making any more after this, unless they reboot it down the line, but I mean, part of the appeal of the Expendables was just seeing the old icons together, but it seems like they didn't really like muster up like any of them for this movie. So yeah, I mean, like I said, time catches up to all of us. So, all right, well, that's all I have to say. As always, take care now. Bye bye then, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.